Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, today we are going back to the low end of the market here. We've been flying the Mavics for a while now, and what I recognize is that a lot of people can't afford drones in that price range. You know, the Mavic Mini starts at $499 and then, you know, $799 for the Mavic Air 2. So there are some options if you haven't quite got that much money. So I've got the SG906 Pro, the Beast, today. It's got the 2-axis gimbal on the front. We've actually flown this one before and, you know, I'm going to say mixed results. And then I brought the original Hubsan Zino with me today, and they just did a firmware upgrade. So with regard to the little Hubsan Zino, and this is the original Hubsan Zino, not the Zino 2, they upgraded the flight control firmware to 1.2.09. None of the other firmware changed, so we won't worry about that. But what it looks interesting, it optimized the altitude hold function, reduced descent speed near the ground, and optimized braking effect for the drone. So we're going to take both the SG906 up, and we're going to look at the range and how it flies and the video quality, etc. And maybe if we've got battery time, we'll try some of the intelligent functions. And we'll do the same thing with the Hubsan Zino. The SG906 Pro, I've seen it as cheap as about 150 bucks on some of the Chinese websites. The Hubsan Zino is about 250 bucks. So let's take the SG906 Pro up first, and we'll take a look at it and we'll see how well it does. Okay, so we've got the SG906 Pro ready to go. I did all the calibrations, did the gyro calibration, did the compass calibration. We're going to change it from SD into HD at the top left corner of the app there. For some reason, we are not getting an FPV connection here. Can't reach the camera. Please check your connection to Wi-Fi. Be sure your Wi-Fi is not connected to others. Be sure your Wi-Fi is not polluted. So it's interesting. We are connected to it via Wi-Fi. You know, if we have to, we'll just take a little flight here without FPV. We'll just fly within line of sight. And we have telemetry, but we just don't have any. For some reason, it's not connecting to the camera, but I'm gonna take it up and go for a little flight, and we'll see. Maybe it'll start up once we get in the air. Okay, so I'll bring it in here. It's pretty steady. Looks good. I'm gonna hit the yeah, I'm not getting, you know, I hit the camera button and I'm not getting anything from the drone. Yeah, I can move the camera with the controller, but I'm getting no FPV. So what's up with that? I have no idea what's up with that camera. So I'm just gonna ask, Sarah's got the Hero 8. I'm gonna ask her just to do her best to follow the drone with that camera. And yeah, we're gonna do, I don't know why, but we're gonna do a droney now, so reverse and up. And unfortunately, I can't see anything that the drone sees, so we're not going to go out very far with it. We're going to go over here to the edge of the park a little bit. I do have telemetry, so we're definitely connected. We're just not getting anything on the camera. Let me see if I can go to 100% power here. Yeah, there, I changed it to full power. And is it any faster? Yeah, it is. So this isn't going to be a very interesting flight because obviously we're not recording anything. The camera is not working. And it worked the last time I flew it. I have no clue what's going on there. But the drone is flying great. The drone is flying just fine. So we're out about 72 meters here. I'm going to go to the opposite end of the park here. See if I can anyway. And see if we can get out 100 meters. I bet we can. Flying it to the opposite corner of the park right now. Yeah, that's yeah, we got over 100 meters there. So I am certainly not, when I haven't got FPV, I'm not going to fly any further than that. But we seem to have a good solid connection. Of course, a camera drone doesn't do you much good without a camera. Let's bring up the yeah, I was going to bring up the map here to see if we could see, but it doesn't really show the I mean, I can see the drone on there, but it doesn't have the line like you would see on a DJI drone. Drone is flying great. I'm telling you, it's flying great. It's too bad we don't have camera. Don't know what that's about. Okay, so we're gonna try a return to home, and let's see how accurate this guy gets. So I'm hitting return to home now, and it's immediately says going home, and it's heading our direction at a pretty good speed. Kind of does it in fits and starts. It moves a little bit and then stops. Moves a little bit and then stops. So we'll let it come down here. So when it lands here, I'm going to look at the camera and make sure that there's just not a wire unplugged or something. Yeah, it's starting to come down. And it's pretty close. It's pretty damn close. I think we might mow a little grass, but yeah, you can see it there. Yeah, it got just off the pad there at the very end. And of course it was in the grass, so it took it a second to shut down. Okay, so I took a look at the camera on the drone, and there's nothing serviceable I can see there, any plug that's unplugged or anything, so don't know what that's about. But we're going to take it up again, and we're going to see if we can put it into an orbit mode, and then we'll probably land it and call it good for this guy. So let's see. One of these buttons on here I know is an auto takeoff. Let's give that a shot. Not that one, evidently. Try this one. Yeah, neither one of those are working. Okay, at least we stopped it from beeping. Okay, let's do a manual takeoff. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take it out and we're going to try an orbit. And of course we don't have a picture of anything, but we'll give it a shot. And it should, the center of where it's at should be where it orbits from. So we're going to click on circle. and send it to the drone. And what you'll see the drone do is you'll see it go away from the circle, and then it'll turn around and come back to it. And Sarah's getting it on the GoPro here. That just gives you an idea of how this drone works, and it actually will do a circle. So it's backing up, and we should see it start a circle here pretty quick. And it is. So it's begun its orbit. Let's see if we can, I'm going to try and back the drone up and see if we can increase the radius. No, that is not working. Oh yes it is. So I was able to increase the radius by going forward on the stick, on the right stick, and then it started its orbit again. Well, enough of that. So let me. We're going to do a return to home, and we're going to land this one and go from there. And we'll get the Hubsan Zino up in the air. So I'm going to try return to home on the app. And it did, and it says going home, and the drone is ascending to its return to home altitude. It's flying pretty good. It's too bad the camera doesn't work. But it's interesting watching it do a return to home, because it does it in fits and spurts. It'll go for a little bit, then it'll stop, and then it'll go for a little bit, and then it'll stop. And we're down to 50% battery. I don't know how long we've been flying, but you know, reasonable battery life. And again, it's going to be fairly close. It's going to land in the grass, I think. Yeah, you can see it coming down there. So it's going to be a few feet off, but that's all right. Of course, in the grass, it took it a second to figure out it's on the ground. Okay, let me get this guy shut down and we'll get out the Hubsan Zino. I am not going to try and disguise my disappointment. There's no reason for the camera not to work, so you know, this is about probably the fourth time I've flown this drone, and so why it quit, I don't know, it's beyond me. Okay, we've got the Zino fired up, and it wants me to sign in. Okay, so I had to log back into Zino, and I don't know why it didn't remember, but yeah, now we're going to click enter device, enter main interface, and it's asking for a calibration, which is great. Okay, so we did a compass calibration and a GPS bind. Unfortunately, in the middle of the calibration, it came up with that status screen, which is what we're showing right here. And you can see the flight control number listed there, 1.2.09. I keep my gimbal at 3.0.2.2 because it works best for me. And then the camera, 0.3.6. Everything else is normal, it says. So we're good to go. No reason why we can't fly. We're going to switch into camera mode, or video mode, excuse me. Let's take a look at our settings here. And we're 4K, 30 frames per second. White balance is sunny day. Color is ordinary. That's perfect. Yeah, we got 12 satellites. Let's start recording, and we're going to take off. We're going to do an auto takeoff on the app. And we had a little bit of the Hubsan drop there, but not too bad. Now it's rising back up. That's typical for this drone. Let me bring it down a little bit here so you can take a look at it. We'll bring it into the camera here a little bit. Do a little yaw for you there. Bring it back up. Typical Hubsan, it kind of moves around a little bit. And we had a breeze come up just then. So you can see it moving around, sinking. I'm going to back it off just a little. So that behavior that you just saw just then is typical of this drone. It seems fairly steady now. It's rising a little bit. But let's quit messing around. Bring it over here just a little. Boy, you can tell when a breeze comes up, and it really threw it for a loop there. So let's do a manual droney, reverse and up now. Back and up. Drop the camera down a little. This guy handles good. I got a lot of confidence in this drone. We're at about 50 meters high there. 160 meters away. That is not something we would have tried with that SG906, the beast. So we're going to yaw a little bit to our right here, and I'm going to show you all the construction that's going on across the road. And if we can get across, we'll go out there and yeah, let's just go. I think if we go right here, we can get across the road there. Let's look for a gap in traffic and then fly out to the corner of the field, which I probably won't be able to do too much longer. Okay, we are full stick forward now. See if we can beat that truck that's coming in. We did. And we're gonna go out into the field here. We're gonna cross. We're over the church parking lot now. We're gonna cross over to the field. Some kind of commercial building we're putting up there. I'm trying to remember what that is. It's too small for a Costco. You never know though. Might be hard to tell. So we're going to kind of skirt the construction there and go out into the corner over here. So it could be, and this all could be parking lot out here. And we're talking about building a new Costco out here, but I'm not sure if that's it or not. So getting a little breakup on FPV. Typical, this guy will go out pretty good. About you can get about 1,000 meters or 1 kilometer. We're about 800 meters now. And we'll lose signal probably between 950 and 1,000, and then it'll go into auto return. That's typical for this drone. And yeah, I'm thinking we're 962. Are we going to make it to a kilometer? No. Aircraft disconnected. So it'll come back. It'll turn around and it'll start coming back. And yeah, we're connected. You see the drone's already turning around and heading our way. Yeah, it says return mode. Yeah, so as soon as it gets signal again, it goes into GPS hold. So we're not gonna put it in RTH. We're just gonna fly it back here. Yeah, we disconnected again. Yeah, we got her back. Usually by this point you'd have pretty solid signal. So yeah, about by 800 meters we got good signal back. So we'll fly it back over the park here. The purpose to show you that was to show you that this is a drone that has reasonable range. You know, it's not, you know, everybody gets all fired up about drones with 8-kilometer range or 6-kilometer range or whatever. You know, a kilometer that's almost as far as I ever need to fly. Yeah, looks like we got a gap in traffic after that pickup there, so we'll keep her coming. And we're back over the, we're almost back over the top of the park. Okay, so there's a couple of, this thing doesn't have a lot of automated flight modes, but it's got a few, so we might as well show some of them. Let's bring it back in here. Lower some altitude and bring it in, and we should be able to do, let's see if we can do an orbit right over the top of the picnic shelter that Sarah and I are under here. I'm going to drop the gimbal down. And we are right over the top of the shelter. We'll center it just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pick the camera back up, and often after having the camera straight down, you'll see a little bit of a tilted horizon, but it'll correct itself. And yeah, sure enough, a little bit of a tilted horizon, but it'll correct itself. This drone has got a really nice horizon on it, always has. But like I said, from the time you're straight down and pick it up, that'll happen. Now the horizon is clear. So we're going to click on the little kind of X looking thing at the top, and we're going to go into orbit mode. And we are going to click, I got it there, and we're going to use the aircraft's current location as the point of interest, and we're going to go to the next step. And what we have to do now is back it off however far we want that radius. So we're going to have a pretty good radius here. We're yeah, about 50 meters. So execute immediately, and then we can go. Let's go the other direction, and I clicked it up to full, and I'm dropping the gimbal down myself so you guys can see the orbit, and it's doing a perfect orbit over us here. So it's that easy, and it is very versatile on this drone. If you've got a point of interest you want to orbit around, it's just that simple, setting it up and engaging. You saw what I had to do with the SG906 to get it to do a circle, you know, kind of clumsy. So, you know, on a lower priced drone like that, that's kind of what you're going to get. So the other thing you can do with this thing is you can set the transmitter here as the point of interest, and it will circle around the transmitter, which is handy sometimes, because sometimes whatever that point of interest is where you're standing. Yeah, and it's telling us the battery level is down to 40%. So okay, so we've probably seen enough of that, so I am going to click stop and fly the drone back over to us here. Do a quick flight around the park here. You can see how this drone handles and get an idea. Let me pick the gimbal up just a little bit. We get more of that rule of thirds. So you've seen this territory before, so let's give you an idea of the video quality on this guy. We'll fly kind of out towards the Boise front here. Okay, so there is one more, another thing I can show you that this drone will do. So we're going to go back into that, and we're going to go into creative video, and we've got a panorama shot. And basically what it'll do is the drone will do a 360, and so we can set it. I'm going to say 360. You want it to go fairly slow, so we're going to click go. and it'll stop recording once it's done with this pan, but it'll just basically do a 360 pan in the air. Yeah, and it's almost on return to home, so we're just gonna let it go into return to home here. 25% battery, yeah, and it exited after start recording again, and it will return to home. And we'll see how close it gets to the landing pad here. It's ascending to its return to home height. And now it's turned around, it's facing us, and it's coming back. Maybe Sarah can get that with the Hero 8. So that flight time that you saw is typical for this drone. I mean, we got probably someplace between 14 to 18 minutes of flight time, which is very typical. I've had as much as 20 before, maybe a little over. So it's reorienting itself. I'm going to drop the camera down here so we can see what we're doing. This drone does not have any kind of obstacle avoidance on it, so yeah, it's going to be fine. I want to make sure it wasn't landing on the roof or something. And it's one of the things that they said was that it changed the descent speed. Yeah, so we're mowing the grass, which we knew it was going to do that. So it's prompting us. I really like this now. It's telling us to stop recording, which I did, and that way you don't corrupt that file in the drone. So let me pick it up here. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do our conclusion. Okay, so today we flew the SG906 Beast Pro, and we flew the original Hubsan Zino. The whole point of that is I like to show people that you don't have to spend $400, $500, $600 on a drone to have fun. You can spend less money. Now the Beast, I've seen it for around 150 bucks on the Chinese websites. This is the Beast SG906 Pro. It's got the 2-axis gimbal, although that didn't do us much good today because the camera didn't work. And then we have the Hubsan Zino, which I'm seeing that commonly now. I saw it on GearBest this morning for like right around 250 bucks. I've seen it on Banggood. You know, typically they make you put in a coupon code for around 250 bucks. I will look and see if I can find the best deal on Banggood, and I will put a link down below for this guy. I'll also put a link for this guy, although I'm not really going to recommend the Beast. If it's, you know, if you decide you want to spend the 150 bucks and it's worth it to you, go ahead. I'm saying it's probably not. You spend a little bit more money, another 100 bucks on the Hubsan Zino, and you get a real drone. You get one that has a 4K camera that will go out a kilometer. This thing doesn't do anything great, but it does everything good. It doesn't have the greatest flight time. There's a lot of things that it does not, as you know, on the more expensive drones that everybody talks about. Everybody wants 5-kilometer range and 30-minute flight time and all that. Nah, it doesn't do that. But what it does well, and it will give you good, solid 4K video for the money. Is it going to give you the kind of video quality that you get on your Mavic Air 2? No, of course not. But is it going to look good? Yes, it's going to look darn good. This guy, the camera didn't work, so how do we know? I can tell you, I've had the camera before and I've been disappointed in it. It had a certain amount of jello and wasn't as stable as what I would have hoped for a 2-axis gimbal. That's been a while ago. In fact, I'll dig out a sample of the video that I've taken from this in the past, and I will put it in the video right now. Hey guys, I don't know where I'm going to cut this into the comparison video with the SG906 Pro and the original Hubsan Zino, but while I was out at Heroes Park, I never could get FPV working on this guy. We took it up, we flew it around a little bit anyway, and it flew pretty good, but didn't get FPV. As soon as I got home, we flew it to about 50% battery, something like that. So when I got home, I thought, well, I'm gonna fire that thing back up and see if I can get FPV on it. And Sure enough, the camera view came right up. So I did nothing different than I did out there in the park. Have no idea why it wouldn't come up when I was trying to film out there. I messed around with it for a good 20 minutes or maybe more. Rebooted it multiple times, did different things, and never did get FPV. But when I got it home in my office, we did. So hopefully there's enough battery power left in this thing to take it up, and I can show you an example of the video on it. And so we're going to put it in the air. We'll put it in HD video, and that will kind of give you a comparison with the Hubsan Zino. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this guy in the air. So look at that. We have FPV here. I have no idea what happened when I was out there at Heroes Park. It just would not come down. In fact, it gave me messages a couple times that it said it could not connect to the camera. No clue. But in any case, let's quit messing around and let's go ahead and take off here. I think one of these buttons on the back will take off. I tried that out at the park and it didn't work, but well, let's try that. Yeah, you can see the drone down there. Yeah, that didn't do it. Let's just do a manual takeoff. Sticks out. And I warn you, lost a stick here. These sticks, it's just a press fit to get them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. So shut it down. So that's another problem with this guy. So you just press these in as tight as you can. I found that if you twist them, so I thought I had that one in good. Yeah, I pressed one of the buttons on the bottom. Well, who knows what that did. There, we stopped the beeping, at least. Okay, so let's try that again. One more time. Sticks out, and then we're gonna go straight up. Hey, we got a lift off. Okay, let's bring it in. Let's switch to HD, and I'm gonna see if we can start recording on the controller here. Yeah, that doesn't seem to do it. Okay, so I touched it on the app and it tells me it started recording. I did not, I had no joy on that when I did that on the, touch the record button on the controller. So let's bring it in here a little bit. Wind's come up just a little. So there you can get a look at it. I mean, it's flying pretty stable here. Let's do a quick yaw. Make sure we can see it with the camera here. I'm going to turn the camera around just a little bit. And let's do a manual droney. Okay, reverse and up now. The up stick was a lot faster than the reverse stick. And we have got it in 50% mode, so I'm going to click it over into 100%. Oh, I do that on the controller right here. Yeah, so you'll see that change on the app to 100%. And you know, I'm seeing a little bit of movement on the FPV feed. While we've got it going here, let's just do a yaw around. And I'm getting a little bit of lag on FPV. It's hard to get a smooth yaw. Yeah, that's where I wanted to fly, was over to the school, but so there's that famous cell phone tower. Let's get up above that guy. I'm gaining some altitude here. Oh, we're already low on battery, so we're not going to get much here, guys. Look at that. We better do a return to home. Let me see if I can drop the camera down here a little so you can see where we're at. Yeah, it's weird because the remote is telling me I got more battery than what it is on the app, so I'm not sure what to believe there. And it is not moving very fast, I can tell you that. And we've got it in 100% power. Yeah, I don't know, we better bring this guy down. Let's do a return to home. So here it's coming back to us. Yeah, and it's the battery is blinking red now, so I'm sorry about that. So we're not going to get much video here, but you'll get an idea of what it looks like. The drone is coming down, it's landing. And you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it on the, it does it in fits and spurts. It revs the engine and then stops and then revs the engines again. It's weird the way it does that. But it's descending now, coming back to us. So it's pretty close. It was pretty close out there at the park too, GPS wise. Well, at least you guys are going to get a look at the video quality on this thing, apples to apples here. And there it is coming down to it, coming down, and it was moving around a little. Bounced a little on the ground, but that's all right. And it shut him down. $150 drone. Okay, so the second flight of the SG906 Beast. So I'm going to leave my conclusion just as it is from when I was over there at the park, but understand that it's modified a little bit because we did finally get the camera to work on this, and at least you get a little bit of a look at what the video quality looks like. So that video you just saw was from another flight, not today's flight, so you can kind of make a little bit of a judgment from that. Like I said, today we couldn't get the camera going. That said, the drone flew great today. It flew just fine. I mean, there was no toilet bowling, no issues. We had a good connection. Because I was just did not have an FPV connection. I didn't want to fly it out very far, but we took it out a little over 100 meters, which is pretty good. I would have been happy if you could get 200 meters with a drone at this price point. That's all right. You know, you're not going to go 100 miles with it, but you know, if you get good stabilized video, that would be fine. But of course we didn't get any video. But that said, the drone flew fine and it did a good return to home and a fairly accurate landing and so forth. So no complaints there. So the only complaint I had today was obviously that we couldn't get this camera to work, and I have no idea why it doesn't work. Like I said, this is about probably my 4th flight with this drone. So I don't know, and I tried reconnecting and all that. I'm going to edit. Well, you will have already seen it, but I've edited a ton. I spent a ton of time trying to get this guy going. I bet I rebooted it 3 or 4 times. Hopefully didn't make you sit through all that, but I just couldn't get it going. So enough is enough there. So here's what I'm going to tell you. An entry-level drone. You want to get into GPS camera drones. This Hubsan Zino is your starting point. Buy a Hubsan Zino for $250. You're going to have a ton of fun with it. You know, decide if this is really a hobby that you want to get into. Hey, you know, I've got some way more expensive drones than this guy, but I still have a ball every time I fly this thing. I love flying this drone. I've had it for, let's see, this drone got delivered to me in December of 2018. So that's how long I've had this drone, and it still flies like a champ. I've gone through about a gazillion firmware updates on it. Everybody's afraid of the firmware updates. Yeah, they're not through the app like a lot of drones, but they're easy to do. If you have any technical ability at all, you're going to be able to get through the firmware updates with this guy easy enough. So highly recommend the original Hubsan Zino. If you want to try out a GPS camera drone, that's the one that you want to get. And yeah, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and we absolutely will see you on the next one. Hubsan Zino, SG906 Pro. Yeah, Hubsan Zino, that's the one you want. See ya.